KW-38. It was not a good fruit year, though we will be full of beans. This has been a quiet, meditative week at the barracks. Also a very wet one. I spent most of the night in water torture, listening to the 3 leaks that sprung in the roof of the loft. It's the 3rd week of September, and I've already had to light a fire in here. More to dry out the air than for heating, but both are very welcome. Last week's newsletter promised the hope of bringing all the wood inside, stacking it beautifully, and getting cracking with some cut 'em up and stick 'em back together again projects. This isn't what happened. I still haven't got all the wood inside. Now even that is rather more positively styled than it is actually true. I strongly suspect that we've managed to bring in a little less than half of the wood. Not for the first time has the scale of the barracks and all things in it led to an overly optimistic take on time required for a thing. It looks like we have 2, quite possibly 3 times as much sawn wood as we have ever had before. The stacks of the future bookshelves are done, and as the most important lumber for next year's projects, it is indeed a good thing that it is all inside, and really rather attractively stacked at that. Nothing else needs to be quite as straight and true as the bookshelves. All the other projects can happily be a bit more wistfully cut and assembled, but the library furniture does really need to be of quite a high squareness, or it will all fall over. But almost nothing from the list got done. We did also go and do some work on the guardhouse. Daughter number 2 is here until probably close to Christmas time, and she is determined to overwinter in the guardhouse, so we should at least make sure that she doesn't freeze to death. This week we'll acquire some furniture items and carpets and maybe a lick of paint, and see about getting her in there before the week is out. We've ordered carbon monoxide detectors from the internet, because it's probably a bad idea to go around slowly poisoning the youth, outside the obvious microplastics, PCBs, PFAs, lead particulates, diesel particulates, and background radiation from 1950s nuclear testing, all of which are of only fringe concern, of course. This week's writings, I've just noticed, might sound to some ears a little down and depressed. I hear it myself. I know I get like that sometimes, and some of you worry. I don't really like the rain so much, other than with a gardener's satisfaction or a forester's joy, but I really do love autumn. Today is a grey day, and I didn't sleep well. Putting the fire on for the first time this year seems weird AF in the middle of September, but there's also a cosy joy to the ritual. If anyone knows a better way to spend a winter than reading books with a metal kettle on an open fire, then do that. Me, I'm going to do this, and be blissfully happy about it. Also, I'm actually feeling rather more positive about my life in general than I have done for a while. So all is well at the barracks, except maybe for the lack of interesting winter food. We have a field full of green stuff which will last well into next year. Potatoes are abundant, and beans have outdone themselves, and I grew twice as many as usual, which helps. But the fruit has been a comprehensive disaster. We took an early harvest of the soft fruits, but only the one round. Total fruit from the orchard, 60 trees, has been a couple of kilos of not very pleasant apples, and the wild crafting that we were looking to doing so much resulted in a handful of blackberries and 0 raspberries. There do appear to be a lot of rosehips, though. We shall take some of them for sure. Tomato sauces will be heavily rationed this winter. I've never had too many tomatoes. Around 60 jars is the target. We'll be lucky to have 12 this year. Maybe it's just better to eat a whole bunch of Italian sauces and curries now, and know that there aren't going to be any over the winter, rather than endure the enforced forbearance of too few. And maybe, when I look at it like that, we're actually just fine for food. I will miss the tomato sauces, though. Now, this newsletter is also getting long and is crazy late, and although we're missing many of the elements of the modern roundup, including pirate gardening tips and jobs for the week, and even the photo from some years ago, I think I'm okay with this. It's not too bad to hark back to the newsletters of the past, which are more of a flow of consciousness from an under-rested, insufficiently caffeinated, barely awake pirate. I think I shall try to do better next week, which gives us 7 days and 7 nights to look after each other. I hope we can all make the most of them. Much piratey love, your Pirate Ben. XO. XO.